What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Planet Zoo. Once again, thanks to you all, I'm actually going to be able to do something today, thanks to your suggestions. So, in the last episode, I thought it'd be a good idea to try to make a sort of aquarium of sorts. So what I wanted to do was incorporate the saltwater croc exhibit with its underwater viewing area and this sort of underground walkthrough type of exhibit that we did for the timber wolves. But once I started to experiment with things a little bit, I realized that the glass fence only has a resistance grade of 2, and the only other animal that actually spends time in the water is the hippopotamus, or the pygmy hippo. So I just figured, all right, well, we can't do an underwater viewing area because glass doesn't work like that. But you guys were kind enough to let me know that, say we use a concrete barrier, for example. We'll just do a little test here. If we go in to edit the barrier, under the barrier settings, or I guess the wall settings, you can actually add a window to any section of a otherwise opaque wall. So if I hit glass here, that's of course going to add this nice little glass window, which is kind of what we want. I'm thinking one-way glass might be a little bit better so that the hippopotamus don't see the guests walking like right in front of them. To be honest, I don't really know how they respond to guests viewing them and things like that. But today we're finally gonna do a hippopotamus exhibit. Now this is kind of the idea I'm starting with here. Once again, I did want to incorporate the saltwater croc exhibit as well as the timber wolf exhibit, so I've devised a much wider path. The timber wolf exhibit is a 13-foot wide path, but I wanted to get a lot wider than that because if we go over there and just take a quick look-see, it's very cramped. Guests really don't have that much room to walk around, especially when we add trash cans and donation bins. I'd like to also add benches and things like that. So I found out that a 26-foot wide path is the exact same width as two 4x4 wall sections, if you will. Now I've set kind of what I think I want the exhibit to look like up right here. However, it's gonna be very, very difficult to replicate this on the other side of the park over here. So what I did is place down one sloped section of that wall to try to figure out the spacing for this exhibit. But the problem is, if I were to continue the path, this path right here, tunneling over this way, there's absolutely no possible way that I'd be able to get it to look exactly like this, just due to the spacing. Also, try not to look at these stairs for a long time because the plaster wall that I put underneath them so you wouldn't see the terrain kind of clips through and makes things flicker a little bit. It's not the prettiest thing in the world. Luckily, we're not going to be in here. Only the guests are. So I have to figure out a way, and yes, the game's gonna have to be paused because we got a lot of animals in the zoo now, and it's getting way more difficult for me to be able to take care of all of them at the same time. But what I have to try to do now is figure out a way to duplicate this over to this side, and then I'll be able to maybe make the path off of that. So first let's go into edit this building, and I'm quite literally just going to select this entire thing. We're gonna copy it and place it right over top of where this sloped wall section is right here. Of course, we will have to rotate it around. There we go. Now we can delete that initial wall. And theoretically, this should allow me to line up the path on this side so that they can sort of meet in the middle. So for the doorway over here, we're actually gonna start out with a 13-foot wide path. And I wanna make sure tunneling is turned off. Now it's probably gonna take me a couple of attempts to get this lined up in the center of this doorway. That actually looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I think we're just gonna go with that. So with that out of the way, we can bump this up to a 26-foot path. Or how did I do this? Uh-oh. I think I kept it on 13 and did a tunneling path like this. Now if we bump this back up to 26 feet and then make it into a staircase, and then bring it back up flat again, that should be roughly the same thing we have going on the other side. It looks fairly close. I think the terrain just wasn't as flat in this area. So on this side, it looks like we have about a brick's worth of space in between the stairs and the landing. Whereas if we check out this side, it looks like we have about a brick and a half. So somehow I have to either move this building back a little bit to get it to line up with the other side. But then if I do that, I'm also gonna have to move this building. So we want about 1.25 bricks on this side and about 1.25 bricks on the other side as well. So now it should be much more lined up here. Let's take a look at the spacing between the path and the outside of this building, and then we'll go check this side. So this side is looking pretty similar. I'd say that's good enough. You know what? It doesn't have to be perfect. So we'll go ahead, place the building down right there. Now what we can do is sort of just copy and paste this building all the way across to the other side. And actually, thinking about that now, I feel like maybe we should finish the path first. So now we're gonna go into edit mode again for this building. We're gonna select the whole thing, and then we're just gonna duplicate it all the way across. Okay, so the last building we have to place is actually only 2 wall sections wide rather than the 3. So what I'm gonna do now is honestly pretty straightforward. I've duplicated another building, moved it off to the side, and what I'm gonna do is basically delete everything that we don't need. So just one little section of it, and we should be able to place it right back down. All right, I think that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and move this into position. And something that I just realized that I totally forgot about is the fact that we had this archway in here as well as the little slate backing for the staircase. So now I have to go through and delete all of this because it's very unnecessary and it's just gonna kind of ruin the whole look of this thing. Okay, now we have the entire hall completely hollowed out. And now I don't really know what to do next, to be completely honest with you, because what we have going on out here on this side, just underneath this sloped area, you can see the terrain just sort of drops off. So what I have to do is try to figure out some way for us to cut out the remaining area of the terrain so that we can make a nice little underwater viewing area. Also, I have to figure out where I'm gonna put the wall, or I guess the barrier for the habitat. The habitat barrier has to be either right where the terrain drops off or right where this wall meets this wall, kind of in that corner. And then it should carry all the way across to the other side. What I think I'm gonna do is just go ahead and delete all of these walls. All right, with those deleted, this is kind of what we're left with. Now, it would be fairly straightforward to just put that same plaster wall underneath the path right here so it doesn't just drop off the face of the earth. But what I want to take a look at is if I were to flatten the terrain in this area, what that would look like. Okay, we have another wall. I forgot about that wall. I'm gonna come outside the building and just keep flattening everything until I get to the other side. Okay, with the terrain completely moved out of the way, I think now we have to edit the building one more time, and we have to delete these walls right here so that we can get a better view at the water once we place it in there. God, that'd be a real bummer too if the water doesn't even get placed down, or if it won't let us place the water down. That's gonna be kind of terrible. All this work for nothing. No, I'm sure it'll work. And to be honest, I think it might even look better still if I get rid of this top wall right here. I don't know why, but it just seems a little claustrophobic. And we could even replace some of those corrugated roof pieces with some glass or just a transparent building material of some sort, just to allow a little bit more light in this space, because it is pretty dark. Yeah, I definitely think that looks better. Dude, I like this. It kind of, from the outside, it kind of looks like a really modern barn or like a crop storage facility. I think it's got a cool look to it. So with a good majority of the interior walls now sort of moved out of the way, I get to figure out how to place down the barrier so that it'll actually work. So I think I will use the concrete just because it does look similar to the C-block wall we used for the foundation. Okay, let's take a look inside, see what we think about that. Honestly, I'm kind of a fan. I really think that looks pretty good, but I wonder if it would look better if they were wider. Say we did like 3 wide sections of glass rather than just 1. Yeah, I think that's a good call. It looks a lot nicer like that. Dude, this looks super good. Super good. And I like that the difference with this one versus what we had to do for our saltwater crocs or what we had to do for our timber wolves is that I don't have to hide the terrain underneath rocks this time. I'm using the building to actually hide the terrain. That's why we have these angled edges, I guess, of the roof line to make it appear that the roof's actually coming into the terrain, because right behind that you can see This is where we would have put rock to sort of hide this ugliness here. But I'm quite pleased. I'm quite pleased with this. I think it looks pretty nice, but we are a ways away from actually finishing this thing. What we have to do now is extend the terrain out enough to see if we can put water in it or not. I'm kind of nervous about this. I really don't want us to have gone through all of this work just to find out that it's not gonna work. Okay, let's grab some water. Please, please, please. Okay, it's obstructed at the very top, but I think that's gonna be okay. What if we did like right there? How's that look from the inside? Oh my God, dude, that's actually really good. That's actually really good. I love it. I love it. I think this is gonna be awesome. Okay, now the problem is we don't have any hippos at this point in time, so we are gonna have to buy some hippos, but I'm gonna clear the water out for right now. And I think what I want to do is have the habitat barrier come up maybe through this roof line here, and then we'll have the actual barrier right on the outside. All right, guys, the barrier is now complete. The only thing we need now is a keeper hut, a habitat gate, and of course, the hippopotamus. So I don't know what the hippos actually need for their environment, for their habitat. I'm hoping they don't need any hard shelter because I haven't included any space for that. Worst case, I can always extend the wall out a little bit more and we can make some room there. I went ahead and feathered out their little swimming hole here. It's actually a really big swimming hole. Now, if we take a look inside, you can really get a feel for what this thing's gonna look like. I'm super, super excited to hopefully open this thing up. I'm gonna come over here to the saltwater croc exhibit and I'm gonna grab this keeper hut and bring it just over here right behind this little section of fence right there. Next, we're gonna need a staff facility or a resting facility. Now, I could have swore I had a single resting facility that didn't have any other sort of building attached to it, but I can't find one. This one has like 3 buildings in one. We have this one, but it's elevated. I suppose it'll probably work the same. We'll just place that down right there and then edit the building so we can delete the foundation, and hopefully we'll be able to put it on solid ground. I could have, yes, probably combined the 2 buildings into one, but it should look just fine. Honestly, it doesn't really matter what these buildings look like. It's just for our keeper anyways. And then the habitat gate, I'm going to put right here. Let's grab ourselves some staff paths, make a nice little T section right there. Uh-oh. I had tunneling turned on still. Next, of course, we're gonna need a keeper. So we'll head into staff and we can go ahead and hire one of those. Drop them down right there. We are, of course, gonna have to click play. They drop down to the ground. We can actually click on them. And now we have to make a work zone for this keeper. So we're gonna select the habitat and these 2 buildings right out here. We're gonna call this one Hippo Keeper Zone. Very, very basic, I know, but it's just so we can kind of keep it all straight. Click on our keeper here, and let's go ahead and apply his new work zone. There we go. And now we just gotta get some freaking hippos, dude. This is normally easier said than done. I can't imagine there's a lot of hippos for sale. I'll check regular hippos as well as pygmy hippopotamus. One's just slightly smaller than the other. Okay, we have 2 pygmy hippos right here, one for 700 conservation credits, the other for just 500. Those 2 could be a good addition for us. Otherwise, we have a lot of male, just hippopotamus, not pygmies, that aren't exactly all that great. I was expecting to see some good options here, but I'm just not seeing it. Hang on, we got a regular hippo right here. Longevity gene, 58%. Oh, he's 14 and a half years old. Someone's just trying to pawn him off at the end of his life. Well, maybe not. Hang on, let's open up that Zoopedia again. They live for 51 years. That dude's only 14. They sexually mature at 6 years old, so he's really not that far off. I think he might be a good option. Let's do it, dude. We got enough conservation credits to be able to swing that. We'll move him into habitat 26. And now we just have to find a halfway decent female. Okay, well, I was recently brought this lovely plate of pizza rolls by my beautiful fiance Oksana. So I'm gonna go ahead and chow down on these, and then hopefully when I come back we actually have a decent hippo or up for sale. All right, we are back after our very brief intermission. Literally, like, as soon as I finished those pizza rolls, a beautiful hippopotamus popped up on the store, so I just went ahead and purchased her. But if we take a look at our storage right here, you can see her name is Zala, which is a 67% size gene, 58% longevity, and 100% fertility and immunity. So she's honestly pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and click play here. I did have to extend our staff paths right here because I very quickly realized that we didn't have any way for our caretakers to actually get to this habitat. And now staff room small is without power, facility is without power. Great. We're like right in the dead zone. That couldn't be any more perfect. So let's head into facilities here, and we need a transformer as well as a water treatment. That should be about perfect. Now, really quick before I forget, we're gonna go into work zones under caretaker mechanic, and we're gonna make sure that these two right here are selected, as well as probably this staff resting facility, just so they can take a load off if they make it all the way out here, and then also this new habitat. So that's looking pretty good. I think now is a good time. We can continue to let things play out here and wait for our caretakers to bring out the new hippos. All right, here they come now. They're gonna enter the habitat. We're gonna have to pause things yet again and make sure that their habitat is well suited for both of them. Oh my God, they're way bigger than I thought they would be, or at least the male is. Holy crap, dude. All right, so first we're gonna focus on terrain. What? They need more water than this? And also more land. Okay, well, we're gonna have to extend the habitat out quite a bit here. Okay, I think I've expanded it like as far as it can possibly be at this point. So let's check back in, see if they have at least enough land. Oh my God, dude, they need way more space than I thought they did. Okay, in that case, we're gonna get rid of this path right here, and we're gonna rebuild it right there. Now we should be able to place a new barrier right here. Okay, please be enough space now, please. That's honestly as far as I can go in both directions. I mean, I could extend this path further out, but I really don't want to. Oh, hang on, calculating. There we go. Okay, we're in the clear now, but we probably wouldn't have been if we would have just left it with that right side over here extended. So at least now we have enough land. I don't know if that's going to give us enough room to make more water. So before they have enough time to jump in the water, I'm going to go ahead and delete what we have right now, and then I'm going to try to extend this out even more. Okay, let's add our water back in. Right there, and then we're gonna have to let it calculate again. Oh, come on. Oh, come on, we're so close. If we do even just the slightest bit more water, we're gonna end up not having enough land. Okay, I just barely extended it. Please, please be enough. We're like so close for both of them. Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so we need like 400 more square feet of water, and that's it. Okay, let's try again. Come on. Yes, okay, we're good. We have both in the green, like barely, but it should be just enough for the two of them. Now, they actually need more long grass and less short grass for once. All right, we got 15% short grass, 17% long grass, 39 soil, 29 rock, and 0% sand. Of course, these animals don't need any snow. So terrain now checked off the list. All good there. They do need hard shelter though, and I hope I gave them enough space, or I guess I hope I gave myself enough space to be able to do that. Okay, hippos are most commonly found in Africa, so I think I'm gonna use this Africa shelter. Plop that down in the corner right there. Is that gonna be enough for the two of them though? 87% hard shelter. I think that's probably good enough. If they do have a bebe, we'll probably have to rethink our strategy here, but for right now, we're in the clear. And then since whatever you do underwater doesn't actually count towards their terrain overall, I'm gonna go ahead and make the entire seabed right here all sand, just to make it look a little prettier. All right, that only bumped it up to 1% sand, so I think we're still good. What else do these two need? Also, I'm gonna have to change their names. Their current name is Chiumbo and Zala. We're just gonna rename them their stats, as we normally do. Oh my God, I just realized they have the exact same stats. That's kind of funny. And I bought them from 2 separate zoos. Okay, back to habitat. We're of course gonna need some enrichment items. I don't think we really have any for this specific species, but it doesn't hurt to look. Oh, we do actually. We have whatever the heck this thing is. We'll go ahead and place that over there. A hanging barrel feeder, a hanging grazer feeder. Ooh, a large tire. That's actually pretty dope. We'll put that right over here. An herb scent marker. I'm gonna put that, actually, let's put that underwater. I don't know if it's gonna work under here, but that might bring them up close to the glass. So I'm gonna place a couple of them down under here. Here we go. We got a mud bath. God, do we have enough space for a mud bath? Put it over here. Large barrel feeder. Put that in the corner. A rubbing pillar. Okay, that should be enough enrichment. We have a water trough large. Oh, we don't need water because they have fresh drinking water right next to them. So let's get a large food trough. I'm gonna put that over here. And I think that should about do it. Let's let things play out here. We'll check in on them again. Make sure they're still doing good. Hard shelter's now down to 27% for some reason. So maybe it wants me to add in some bedding. Here we go. Add a little bit of bedding. See if that helps at all. Still 27%. That's unfortunate. Oh, she's going in the water though, dude. Look at that. They actually go underwater. And now we get to see it from inside here. I think some lights might be good, but they'd almost have to be underwater lights. Normally, if you have a light from up above on the surface, it kind of makes your vision even worse. Do we have anyone walking down here yet? Not quite yet. I have a feeling the guests are eager to get in here though. Dude, that's so sick. That is so sick. All right, so they're both in the water currently. They don't have the best hard shelter, but I think later on I might be able to put another one of these shelters maybe in this corner or something. I don't know. I'll try to figure it out though. Make sure that they get treated well here. Enrichment's now okay. Adult population actually needs some more adults, but we'll have to worry about that at a later date. Or I guess he probably wants another lady. Typical. So now that we have the hippos placed in their new habitat, everything's going good there. What we have to do next is come through this long hall. We're gonna place all sorts of different types of displays and speakers and stuff like that, so hopefully we can get the education rating for these animals pretty up there. All right, guys, here it is. Our in-ground underwater viewing hippopotamus exhibit. I think this thing turned out phenomenal. I'm anxious to hear what you guys think about it. Thanks to you, I was actually able to do a underwater viewing area for the hippopotamus, so I do appreciate you guys leaving me those suggestions on how I'd be able to do that. Now, as of right now, it doesn't seem like a whole lot of people are wanting to come out and see the hippopotamus, but that is totally okay. In due time, it's gonna take quite a while, I would imagine, for people to actually start making their way all the way out to the edge of the park here, or I'm sorry, the edge of the zoo. But I think once they do, they'll realize that it's well worth the trip. So now that we have finished the exhibit, it is actually raining, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and wind things down here. Now, once again, if you guys did enjoy, please leave a like, leave a comment, help support the dream by smashing that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Peace.